Alright, so here we have Angels and Demons, which is the sequel to the Da Vinci Code. And just like the Da Vinci Code, it's ludicrous and boring. There's a lot of explosions and killings and stuff like that, but it really isn't very exciting at all. It's the interesting thing is the art. Like they weren't allowed to shoot in Vatican City, so they had to recreate all the areas in sets. So that was pretty interesting. But otherwise, it's really not very compelling. You got Tom Hanks, who's a smarmy douchebag in this movie, which all of his roles are really like seem self-indulgent. But here he's especially smarmy. He always makes these little quips or what have you, where he's like, for example, he's like, "Fellas, you called me," when they're telling him he can't go somewhere, and he makes like 8 of those throughout the entirety of the movie, and it's really not very amusing. It kind of reminds me of like, it's like National Treasure, like Vatican Edition, and it's more boring than National Treasure. Like, it's not compelling at all, and I can't believe this movie's actually like PG-13, because it seems like this would be R. They're like cutting out people's eyeballs, burning people alive, drowning people. It's pretty crazy. So I'll give it points for not really having a director like James Cameron who can pull a PG-13 rating out of their ass and getting the PG-13 rating, so they get points for that. But otherwise, it's just a really boring 2-hour-long movie. And there's nothing wrong with a movie that's 2 hours long. I like plenty of movies that are longer than that, but if it's boring, I don't want it to be 2 hours long. And one last thing, this movie has the stupid Kaiser Soze ending that every thriller seems to need to have these days. I mean, it's like, you know, a Kaiser Soze moment, if you're not familiar with The Usual Suspect, is when some guy, like, you think the mystery's solved, and then some guy looks at something and he's like, "Wait, holy f***ing shit, it's not really what it is. That wasn't it." And then they go figure out something else. And those moments, they're just not compelling. It was only interesting in The Usual Suspects because that was the point of the whole movie. And yeah, don't see Angels and Demons.